Hi, everybody. I'm Kristen, and this is the Queen City Yarn Dying to Knit podcast. Today is Thursday, August the 22nd, and I'm coming to you from just south of Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm in South Carolina, just south of Charlotte, and I'm here to talk to you about all things knitting. It's been a few months since my last podcast. I've just been momming it up for the summer and having some fun with my kids, and they are back in school. As of this week, I have a kindergartner and a second grader, and I've got like 3 extra hours, like 3.5 hours extra a day than I did last year during the school year, since my son is in kindergarten now. So thanks for coming to join me. If you're new, welcome. If you're coming back, thanks again for coming back to check me out again. This is going to be a long episode. I'm going to talk to you about all the things I've been up to, all the finished objects and things that are going on, and lots of works in progress. So yeah, join me, grab a cup of something and some knitting, and let's chat. So I'm a knitter, primarily, a yarn dyer, co-owner of Queen City Yarn with my friend Janice. And yeah, you can find out more about me and my projects on in Hand Dyed Yarn on Instagram. I'm Kristen C. That's CHRISTENC, and also Queen City Yarn. On Ravelry, I'm just Kristen, and we have the Queen City Yarn Dying to Knit podcast, just Queen City Yarn group on Ravelry. And you can find all the yarn at queencityyarn.com. So I've got lots of projects on the needles. Some are out of Queen City, some are not, because I have a Queen City stash and also other stash, because I love yarn. So yeah, it's been crazy busy since the last time we chatted. The kids and I took a trip to go see my family and my husband's family, so we spent some time out on the water in the boat, and so I can wakeboard still, which was amazing that I can still do that at 37 years old, because I don't think I've wakeboarded since I was pregnant with my daughter, so that was kind of cool, like highlight of being at my parents' house, because we got out on the boat, the kids and I were tubing on a big hot dog tube, which was really fun and hilarious. And yeah, my brother and I got the wakeboard out, and we did some wakeboarding, which was really cool. I was really impressed with myself that I could still do that. So that was a highlight in Maryland. That and crabbing all day and having a big crab feast was amazing. And just time with family. Then we went up to my husband's family's house, who they just bought a house in the mountains, and so that was really peaceful and beautiful and fun. All of my brother-in-laws and their families were there, and just spending time with my in-laws. It was a really nice trip. So it was a long one though. So then when we got back home, it was just getting back into the swing of things, tiring the kids out at the pool so that I could get them to bed earlier to get back on school schedule. So yeah, and now they're back in school, and I have all the time to do all the things. It's amazing. Today's Thursday, and they start school Monday. My house is clean. I was able to spend a day dyeing. I did inventory and updated the website. It's just incredible. And I'm sitting here recording a podcast finally. So, all right. So that's enough of the chat. Let's talk about finished objects. There are so many. I did a really good job of packing, if I do say so myself, packing my knitting to go on our trip. Usually I bring all the projects plus tons of yarn because I might want to start something new. And the kids and I traveled in July, so I did like a self-imposed knit Christmas gifts in July thing. So I did a lot of that. So I have lots of those to show you. And then also just finishing up things that we've chatted about in the past. The first thing that I want to show you is finished. At the last time I showed it, I had to take it apart and fix one of the fronts was too short, and anyway, it's done. I still have a million ends to weave in, but this is the amazing Technicolor Dream sweater by Stephen West, and it's using all kinds of fingering weight yarn stash, which I've talked about before. And I don't have all the tags with me. I just brought the sweater over. So the last time we chatted, I mentioned that the left side of the front was too short. I had made a mistake on this side. And so what I had to do was I took all of the neckline and the shoulders off, because it's like a saddle shoulder that's knitting the front and the back together. So I took that all off, the neckline off, and I took the seam out here down the front. You can see the seam better. So anyway, I took that seam out and I added the length on the left side that I needed and seamed it back up, and then redid the shoulders and neckline, and it's perfect now. It's still not blocked, but I did finish the brioche hem down at the bottom. And yeah, it just needs all of the ends woven in and blocking, but I've tried it on and I love it. I'm gonna live in this sweater once the weather changes, because right now it's so hot out. It's crazy. It's been in the 90s and it's just super duper humid because it's the South and that's how it is. All right, the next one that I finished, and I think I had finished this the last time we chatted, but I didn't have it. I think I had sent it with Janice. I don't know, maybe I showed it. If I did, yeah, because you get to see it again. This is my Ray Ray sweater designed by Leanie Hoy. And this is knit in Berry Hill fingering. And I love the way this turned out. It's a yoked sweater, so it's top down in a yoke, and you do increases, and it's got all these fun stripes of all the colors, well, a lot of the colors, which was nice because I was having a really hard time picking what colors I was going to use. So I'm gonna really like this sweater. I love Berry Hill. It's it's our new exclusive base, the new Queen City exclusive base that we had milled right here in, right in the North Carolina mountains at Echo View Fiber Mill. And it is it's an 80% merino, non-superwash, and 20% alpaca. But it's a fingering weight. So even though the alpaca makes it warmer, it's a lighter weight sweater, lighter weight garment. And it's got a beautiful hand. The alpaca lends a little bit of drape to it. It's just, it's gorgeous. I'm so excited about it. I can't wait for the weather to change so I can wear all these sweaters. Okay, so that is another one of my finishes. I knit the size medium. And my sleeves turned out a little tight because I was using a 9-inch circular on the sleeves. So kind of a learning moment is that I need to go up a needle size if I'm going to knit the sleeves on 9-inch circulars, because I knit tighter on those little needles. Okay, the next thing, I've got a whole pile of finished things. So the next thing that I've finished are my Grain Line leftover shorty socks. So, and I've worn these a few times already. And I really love them. So what I did was I had test knit the Grain Line Cowl by Tammy Gore using these colors. Deep Eddy was my main color, and then it used mini skeins of the other colors. So this one is Showgirls, Poppy, and Just Peachy. And so I had leftovers from the cowl, and I knit myself a little pair of shorty socks, and I absolutely love them. I used the heel flap and the double gusset heel by my friend Christy, who is Turtle Girl 76. Christy Payne designed that heel, and just a regular round toe, or regular wedge toe, I guess is what it is. And yeah, I love them. So those are also done. I finished my Punky Power cowl, but I don't have it with me. The one that Janice designed, which is like a fun brioche cowl. and I used Rosetta and Berry Stomp for that cowl. I think Janice has it. I don't have it, I don't think. Maybe that's why I didn't grab it. All right, the next thing, I finished my pair of Curvy Wurby socks. These are RBF Reboot is the colorway, and Curvy Wurby is a self-striping dyer who's amazing. I used Knit Picks Essential Solids in black for the heels, and I also did the heel flap and double gusset, and then just the heels and toes, I used that. And I love these. They're so fun. So, yay. Another pair of socks for me. Don't you worry, I finished lots of things for other people too. Not everything. Not everything I knit for me is, not everything I have to show is knit for me. Another thing I finished, but I don't have it anymore because I sent it off, is the baby hat that I forgot to knit. So my husband, a woman that my husband works with, was expecting, and months ago he asked me, hey, would you knit so-and-so a hat for her baby when they're born? And I was like, absolutely. And I didn't think about it again until he was like, oh, so-and-so is in labor. Do you have that hat so I can send it? And I was like, what hat? The hat you said you'd knit? No, but let me do that. Thankfully, baby hats are really fast. So I used some leftover Woolmize DK, and I don't know what the color blue is, but it's really cute. There's a picture on my Ravelry page. I'll try and like do a little thing and put it in. So anyway, I knit the hat. It took me like 2 days to knit it. Well, started it after I put the kids to bed and had finished it the next morning. And yeah, so that I finished that as well. Next thing I want to show you are the Christmas ornaments that I finished. And I have to show you this too. So I had a birthday in May, and when I went to Maryland Sheep and Wool, my mom gave me my birthday presents. And one of the things that I received for my birthday is this beautiful hand-turned bowl. And my dad made this. It's so pretty. So I'm using it. Isn't it gorgeous? I love the live edge of the bark and everything. Anyway, I'm using it to hold all of my Christmas ornaments that I've been knitting. And I'm on track, except for I really need to knit August's ornament because it's the 22nd and I haven't cast on yet. Thankfully, they're super fast. So anyway, I'm going to show you what I've made. In May, I made this little elf hat for this wine cork. I'm going to draw a little face on it. But that was just kind of like a little fun one that I did. So I have to draw a face on that. And then I have some notes, serious notes because it's been so long and not on that page. In June, I made this tiny sweater, which I love. My favorite thing about these little sweaters is the little hangers, which I stole a bunch of my husband's paper clips from from his office because he has an office here at home, and made this little. It makes me so happy. Little sweater. I haven't decided if I'm going to put a C on it, embroider a little C, or duplicate stitch likely, a little C on there for Clement, or if I want to do a snowflake, similar to the snowflake that I did on this little hat whenever I made that. I don't know. Was that April maybe? I'm not sure. And then July, I made another little sock, and this is leftovers of Stranded Dye Works, the Naughty List, that I knit my Maybe If I Start Now Christmas socks with. So I finished that, and I really like the proportion on this sock. So I put in my notes on my Ravelry page exactly what I did, but I used a Fish Lips Kiss heel, and I think that it looks better at this size with the Fish Lips Kiss, and it was super fast. So I think that I will, if I make my next sock ornament, will be also this style. So yeah, so I'm keeping up, and they look so pretty in this beautiful bowl that my dad made me. I want all of the hand-turned bowls. He's made so many beautiful ones, and I got to see all of them when I was home, and I just think that they're just incredibly gorgeous. So Okay, so that's that. And okay, the next thing I did was a Christmas knit. So my sister-in-law, I'm sure she doesn't watch. I'm not going to name who it is though. I made the Find Your Fade shawl by Andre Mowry using 7 colors of stock yarn. I think I used all hedgehog in mine. There's pictures of it on my Ravelry page a few years ago, and I made it a few years ago, and I think it's my husband's favorite shawl that I've knit because it's so colorful. And when we went home for the holidays, I took it home with me and wore it when we went out for our dinner. Like, we always go out for a dinner, all of us kids. And she loved it. And so when I sent the text out this year and said in January, I sent a text to all the kids, like my brother and all Mike's brothers and their significant others and everything, saying, okay, I'm starting Christmas gift knitting early this year. If there's something specific you want, let me know. And she mentioned that she would love a shawl, like the really colorful one that I had made. But I did not want to knit another Find Your Fade because it's 7 skeins of fingering weight yarn. I mean, it doesn't use all of them, but it takes forever. So what I did before I went home is I pulled out all kinds of DK scraps. And this is not blocked yet, so it's gonna really open up. This is all garter stitch. And I did the pattern. It's another Andre Mowry pattern, and it's called Free Your Fade by Andre Mowry. And I got the pattern as part of my like subscription or whatever for the what's the name of the classes? I can't think of it now. It's like an online class thing. I can't think of the name of it. If I remember the name of it, I'll put it on the screen. But the pattern's available on Ravelry. So what I did was I picked all kinds of DK weight out of my leftovers bag, and I knit this shawl. So most of it is Queen City. The first color here is Rosetta, and it's all garter stitch, and it's got rows of eyelets. The shawl does, and then you fade in the next color. So it's Rosetta, and then the pink one is Passion. So this one is on Biddleville DK, and then this one is Dilworth DK, which is another one of our bases. So that's Passion. And then I used some Doodle, which is this here. And then this here with the more turquoisey and the greens is a Makeup Fish. And then the last color is a Gale's Art color. I don't know the name of it, but it's so beautiful, this dark, and it's like brown with all the bright speckles. Well, it's like browns and grays and all the speckly beautifulness. And I knit myself a pair of mittens out of that at some point. I think I got it at Maryland Sheep Mall. Anyway, this is it. I love it. I think she's going to absolutely love it. I think it's going to really grow a lot when it's blocked because it's garter stitch, and I'm going to really pull it to make it super drapey and big. So I just have to weave the ends in and block that, but that's a Christmas gift done. So there's that one. The next Christmas gift knit I have are my movie cast on socks, and I cast these on before going to the movies with the kids. And this is, much like my ornaments that I showed you, leftover Naughty List by Stranded Dye Works. And so what I did was I just knit 2 tubes. I didn't knit a long tube this time because did I? Maybe I did. No, I did knit a long tube, and then I just cut it in half. So anyway, this is a pair of shorty-ish socks for another one of my sister-in-laws who loves socks and has tiny feet, so she's fun to knit socks for him. And this is leftover Stranded Dye Works, the Naughty List, which that skein is completely gone now. I've used every bit of it up. And then the green is something that my mom had in her stash because I was knitting on these when I was home for the holiday, or home over the summer. And I'd finished the tube and was ready to do the heels and toes, cut them in. So they're Afterthought Everything socks. And so these are done. And I was knitting on these when we were out on the boat. We pulled up to like a little sandbar area for the kids to get out and play. And I had my friends, two twin boy sons with us. They're 8. They're a year older than Caitlin. And Hayden likes to knit. He knows how to knit. His mom taught him. And I was sitting in the boat knitting on the socks while the kids are playing in the water. And he was done playing. He wanted a break. So he came up and sat next to me. And he actually knit a few rounds on the socks and really enjoyed it. And it was nice having a cute little conversation with him about it. And their mom was about to have another little boy. And she just has had it a few weeks ago. But he was telling me that he needed to get some yarn to knit his new baby brother a baby blanket. So I don't know if he's started. I should call Lindsay and find out if he's knitting a baby blanket for Nathan. But anyway, that was a fun little extra about that project, that I got to just enjoy some time with him chatting about knitting and how much he loved it. It was really cool. And I don't think that he'd ever knit at such a tight gauge before, but he did awesome. Like, had no issues. And also I was working them on a 9-inch circular, and he had no problem with that either. So that was kind of neat. I'm drinking a iced latte because it's hot, y'all, but the need for coffee is real. Okay. The next thing I finished, these are another gift. And these are the Yarn Jar Creme de Menthe socks. And I believe I had finished sock 1, and I did a drop heel flap, and the double gusset heel. And I had used Knit Picks Essential Solid for the heel flap and heel turn. And I was knitting on the second one when we were at my parents', and I ran out of the black, so I grabbed just some white that my mom had, some undyed yarn that my mom had, and finished up the little bit of the heel flap, a couple of rows of the heel flap and the heel turn with that. But these are done, and these are a Christmas gift, and I won't say who they're for, although I believe that this person already knows that they're for them for Christmas, but that's another Christmas present done. So if you're counting, I have shown you 3 Christmas gifts that are finished already. Oh man, I forgot. Okay, I have to pause this and go and get one more to show. Okay, I'm back. I forgot to grab this project, so because there's a story. I also finished this pair of DK weight socks for Christmas. These are going to be for my mother-in-law. They're stripy, and the yarn is Knitting Fever KFI Luxury Collection Indulgence Cashmere, which, take my needles out because I'm going to knit myself a pair. But, okay, so this is the tag, and the color is 611. But this is what it looked like in the skein. And I don't know why, and so I knit them up and they were super ugly. I thought anyway. It wasn't pleasing. I don't know. It just wasn't my thing. I didn't like it. But the yarn is crazy, crazy soft. I bought it because I was blinded by the cashmere content. It's just incredibly soft. It's only 5% cashmere, but it's extra fine, 70% extra fine merino, 25% polyamide, which is nylon, and 5% cashmere. But I knit them up and they were ugly. They were so ugly. Just the position of the colors and everything, it just didn't look good. So when I was dyeing this week, I made up like a wash that's very similar to our slate color, and I just dyed them, already knit. And they're definitely not the style socks that I would usually wear because they're so dark. I think that this colorway would actually be good for like my brother or something would really like them dyed like this, not as a knit from the skein. And I was going to cast on the other one, another pair, to show you what it looked like, but I just didn't have time. I wanted to podcast today. But this is what they are. I think my mother-in-law will like them. She wears a lot of, black and navy and stuff like that. So, and they're cashmere. So, so it's another Christmas gift done. And they look much more pleasing with this super dark wash on them. because I'll show you when I do knit them. You'll see they were not beautiful. So I have forgotten them because they were on the drying rack with the yarn that I dyed this week, because I dyed them and they look better, like way better. Okay, so that's that. I used the fish lips because heel on that, which was nice. So another Christmas gift I finished. I still have to weave the ends in and write up the pattern, actually. So my brother-in-law, Steven, requested a pair of Pop Top mittens, which probably 10 years ago, these are a little big for me because they're for man hands. Probably about 10 years ago, I knit all of the men, and most of the ladies too. I think I knit everybody Pop Top mittens. I had designed Pop Top mittens and knit them for everyone for Christmas. So it's just like a fingerless mitt with a thumb, and then it's got this like little mitten top that goes over top. It's picked up across here. So I had designed mittens, and I was a newer knitter back then and not as adventurous. And so instead of doing a gusseted thumb, I just would cut, do like an afterthought thumb. And so I would cut some stitches and get those live and then knit a thumb. And they were great, and everybody loved them, but they weren't as comfortable as a mitten with a gusseted thumb. So for this pattern, I've designed with a gusseted thumb. And this is the size large. And I was able to get this, and I still have a pretty good like walnut size nugget of yarn out of a skein of Biddleville DK. This is our, I don't do the Sunday crossword colorway. And it's just grays and blacks. And so anyway, I made these for Steven. And I am I'm getting ready to cast on a pair for Kevin, because he's also asked for some. So that's a lot of Christmas gifts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 Christmas gifts. I'm going to love myself in December when I'm knitting all the things for me. And all the Christmas knitting is done and wrapped and under the tree. Okay, so that's those. And one more Christmas gift to show. This is a swatch hat. This is Queen City Yarn Biddleville DK, Queen City Yarn Berry Hill, which is a fingering weight. It's our exclusive base. And this is a swatch of the New Leaf pattern by Jennifer Steingass. And I used Naked and Midnight as the colors. And so I was going to knit New Leaf. I actually ended up changing my mind, and I'm knitting a different one of her patterns that required the same gauge. But I just knit the color work portion and then designed a little crown for it. I think that, this is going to be a gift for one of my sister-in-laws. And I think it's going to have this little pom-pom on top, which I think is super cute. But I love the way this turned out. Anyway, it's super cute. It's just a little bit slouchy, which is the style of hat that I love to make. So yeah, this I knit while I was home because I was itching to cast on my Berry Hill sweater for the Berry Hill knit along that we have going on. And so yeah, this is going to be a Christmas gift too. All those Christmas gifts knit. Are you guys so impressed? I am impressed with myself for sure. Okay. So that's all the things that I finished. That was so much, right? I can't tell you how long I've been recording for because I had to pause it and come back. But it was a lot of things finished. And I'm really proud of myself for packing things that I could finish. On the trip, I finished those Naughty List socks, the DK shawl, the Yarn Jar Creme de Menthe socks, and the swatch hat. All on the trip. And then the only other thing I brought, I'll show you in just a minute. So, yeah, it was like good packing. I didn't have too much, but I had enough variety in the things that I had that I didn't feel like, oh man, I wish I'd brought whatever. So the other thing that I brought on the trip, I'm calling my Fuzzy Wuzzy V-neck boxy. And this is the V-neck boxy by Joji Locatelli. and I'm knitting it in a new color, Queen City Yarn, out our Noda sock, and this colorway is called Paxton. And the reason why I'm calling my sweater the Fuzzy Wuzzy sweater is because the yarn, this colorway we designed for a trunk show at the Fuzzy Goat retreat, and Fuzzy Wuzzy just stuck because that's what it was in my head. But I brought this with me to work on, and I've got the body completely done. I just need to do the neckline. So the neckline needs to be finished, and I need to pick up and knit the sleeves. But I absolutely love this. This colorway knit up so beautifully in this pattern. I did alternate skeins. I didn't alternate until I joined it in the round. And then I started alternating skeins. And I used the helical knitting to alternate the skeins, and I love that. I'm going to do that every time I knit with hand-dyed yarn, for sure. But I love the way this knit up. The way that it knit up, this colorway knit up in this pattern, it reminds me of the boxy that my mom knit out of our Prissy Pants colorway, which I absolutely love. And I borrow from her just about for every show that we do. We did an interview with Christy Glass, and I wore it during that interview. So it looks really good on. I love the way the color is knit up. There's no like flashing or pooling, and I think the same is true with this one. And anyway, it's like a mom hug, so I borrow it from her and wear it to stuff. And this one I think is going to be a well-worn boxy as well. I'm excited for the V-neck. I love a good V-neck, so yeah, this is in the Paxton colorway, and like I said, the body is done, and I did the tubular bind off. I didn't do a split hem on this one. I thought about it, but I didn't. I just knit the ribbing, knit it as the pattern called for. So just got to knit some sleeves, and that will be done. So it won't be very long, and that will be a finished project. But this is the only other thing that I brought home for our trip. So yeah. Okay, let's see, I have 2 more sweaters, and then like 3 pairs of socks. The other sweater that I'm working on and loving, my mom got me this town bag for my birthday too. Isn't it cool? It's great for this pattern. So the other sweater that I'm knitting is Garden Gate by Jennifer Steingass. And I finished the yoke. It's like on little small needles now with a little stitch stopper that's probably dangling and making a lot of noise. All right, so this is the Garden Gate. The yoke is all color work. The main color that I'm using is Midnight, and the very light blue colorway is called Hydrangea. And this is in our Berry Hill yarn, and I absolutely love it. Now I am knitting the size 49 because of my gauge. The pattern calls for, I want to say 22 stitches over 4 inches, and I liked the fabric that I got with 27. No, the pattern calls for, yes, calls for 22, and I like the fabric that I got with 27. So I'm knitting the size 49 because I need more stitches to make up for my gauge. But I'm gonna be getting like the size 40. So I'm following like the lengths for the size 40, but the stitch count for the size 49 for this pattern. I really love it. When I finished the color work before I separated off the sleeves, which I've just done, I spread it all out, added some cords to my interchangeables and spread it all out, and did one of those circle pictures, which you can see on Ravelry and on Instagram, and I just love it. I'm so excited about this sweater. So now I'm just knitting on the body, and then I'll have the sleeves to go. And this I cast on for our Berry Hill knit along, which it started July. It started June 8th, I think. started July 8th, and it runs through the beginning of September, but there's still time to join in if you want to. You just use a skein of Berry Hill in your Colorwork sweater, and you don't have to finish to be eligible to win prizes. And so, yeah, if you want to knit a Colorwork sweater, use some Berry Hill and win some prizes. You just have to chat on Instagram using the hashtag BerryHillKAL, and or post in the Ravelry group in the knit along thread. So yes, that's why I did the swatch hat, because I needed to know, so as soon as I got home I could get the yarn and cast on, and got a Christmas gift to boot. So okay, so those are 2 sweaters. I have one more sweater, and I showed the yarn for this the last time I podcasted. Janice brought me this yarn back from her trip, and I absolutely love it. Do I have one of the tags? Yes. So this, I'm knitting the Jenny Flower Tee, and that's by Julie Knits in Paris, and the yarn that I'm using is Townhouse Yarns and Cupcake and that one, Croak, maybe, or I don't know. I can't read that name. I think it's maybe it's Cloak. I'm not sure. Townhouse Yarns. It's gorgeous. It's also lace weight. So this one is Cupcake, and this is the other one. And the yarn is a 2-ply fingering. It's 55% merino, 45% silk. It's like butter to knit with, but it's lace weight. And I don't think I've knit with lace weight since maybe like right after Michael and I got married. Because I think I knit one shawl after we got married. But it's gorgeous. So it's got these like rows of eyelets where the increases are. And it's all striped, and I just started the eyelets down at the bottom. And I've got a little bit more to go on that. And then I'm not sure how the sleeves are finished because I have not read ahead in the pattern, but I love it. Janice is knitting one too, and hers is in a different color palette. It's 2 different colors, but it's so pretty. And so we're going to be twinsies, and I love it. I think it's going to be a great little t-shirt. So yeah, I'm really enjoying that. So that is all of the garments that I have on the needles. And I have 3 pairs of socks on the needles. So I showed you the Yarn Jar Creme de Menthe socks that are a Christmas present. But I had a huge chunk of this yarn left over. So I cast on some little shorty socks for me. And I'm just working them on a 9-inch circular. Currently, I may stop and do a fish lips kiss heel soon, because I think that's what I'm gonna do on this one. Either that, or maybe do a drop heel, a heel flap and gusset, like I did on the other ones, on the gift ones. But so I'm knitting on these. This is in a Kitchen Counter Crafter bag by my friend Java Jenny makes these. And this one has got all kinds of coffee things on it, which works for me. So, and this is a drawstring one, which is super cute. So I'm working on those socks. I have a pair of socks on the needles for my husband. He has a birthday in September. And so he picked out a skein of Kirby Werby for his next pair of socks. So this is Kirby Werby yarn, and the colorway is Magically Delicious. And this is her soft and squishy base, which is a 75-25 blend. And here it is, all wound up in the skein. It's really pretty. It's all the colors of green. So I think she did this colorway, I think it was like a St. Patrick's Day thing. That might be when I got it. But when I saw it posted, I just knew my husband would love it. So it's all different colors of green, and I'm knitting him shorty socks. with the heel flap, and I'm currently working on the second gusset and the double gusset. Yep. So these have been my kind of walk around outside with the kids since I cast them on socks, which I haven't been. It's been so hot. We haven't been outside so much until the evenings. And I'm using, this is a Chicken Boots bag. So that's what those socks are in. And then I have one more pair of socks. And these socks are for me. All of the notes. These socks are for me. These are hot pink rainbow shorty socks. And I'm like a few stitches in on that row. So this is Fab Funky Fibers is the dyer. And I knit Caitlin a pair of socks out of this last year or the year before. Which I thought maybe I could just make longer, but I think they might actually be too small around for her. So anyway, this is the pair I'm knitting for me. And I'm doing shorty socks. I did a Fish Lips Kiss heel. In the future, if I'm going to do Fish Lips Kiss heel, I need to do at least one more stripe before starting it because these come down really low in the back. But, you know, you knit and you learn, right? But they're so pretty. And I'm going to use leftovers of our Noda sock and eggplant for the toe. That's the plan. So those are on the needles. So I'm going to finish the stitches on this needle before I put it back away because that bothers me. I guess I was at the pool when I was knitting on these the last time. So I still have some things to show, but they're not, one of them is something that I made, and the others are some samples that I wanted to show off. So, since we last chatted, there's been lots of things happening with Queen City Yarn. My punnet hat pattern is released, and we have kits available in the shop. I'm going to show you the color combos that we have available in the shop. But we started our Berry Hill knit along, and Janice went and vended at the Zombie Knit Apocalypse in Rochester, Minnesota, and had a ton of fun there, and showed off our Berry Hill yarn. And that's where these next two sweaters that I'm going to show are from. So we were really excited to work with some designers that we love and have them design some things for our Berry Hill yarn to be released at ZK. So the first design I'm going to show you is called Lake Life Henley. I was trying to remember the name. This is knit in our Azalea colorway, but it's a beautiful short sleeve top, and it's a Henley, so you can add buttons. I actually like it open like this, so I don't know if I'll put the buttons on there. But this was designed by Megan, Just Run Knit. She's one of the Stocking Knit Zombies, and it's just a beautiful little t-shirt. It's got the lace panel in the front and also in the back, and then just a little bit on the shoulder and down the sleeve. It's just such a pretty little detail. And so this pattern was released in time for the ZK retreat and was on display there, and Megan made hers in hydrangea in this colorway, I believe. Or maybe it was denim. I think it was this one now. So that is a new pattern that uses our new Berry Hill yarn. The other one that was released for ZK is by Telly Bean Knits, and it's called Just Float. It is a beautiful colorwork yoke sweater. She's also hosting a knit along for this sweater in her Ravelry group, Telly Bean Knits, and you don't have to use Berry Hill, but that's the suggested yarn for the pattern, and so it's really gorgeous. If you are knitting something for the Berry Hill knit along, you can double dip in the Just Float if you want to knit this sweater. But this sweater is just absolutely gorgeous. I'm so in love with it. This sample was knit up using Naked, which is the undyed, and then Denim, which is the blue here. So I'm really excited about this one. And this is Janice's sweater for the knit along, and this is Puntilla by Isabel Kramer. Isn't it pretty? She used mulberry, and then sweatshirt is the main color. But this is done. She just hasn't snipped her ends yet. I stole it from her the other day. But isn't it beautiful? So that's another Berry Hill one. And then we had our sample knitter, Diana, knit this gorgeous Novelli tee by Caitlin Hunter. So the main color is Naked. The dark is Midnight, and the pink is Azalea. But this looks really cute. I wore this, maybe I showed it on the last one. I don't know if I had it. I don't remember. It's been a long time since the last podcast. I wore this at the Black Mountain Yarn Shop pop-up that we did for Worldwide Knit and Public Day. But it's very, very cute. And then the inside of the sleeves it's faced with Midnight, which I think is a really cute detail and kind of makes the sleeves kind of stand out a little. So those are the sweaters. And then my punnet hat is done and published. The pattern is published. I love the way the crown on this turned out. I love a colorwork crown. So this is the punnet hat. It uses 2 skeins of Berry Hill yarn, and you'll have lots left over. You can make a few hats with 2 skeins of yarn. So this, I'll tell you about the kits that we have available in the shop. So my hat was knit using Peacock as the main color and Naked as the coordinating color. And then another option that we have in the shop is Cardinal and Sweatshirt. And then we have Mulberry and Sweatshirt, which is what Janice used for her sweater. Mulberry and Azalea, which is really, really pretty. We have Denim and Naked, which is what we have for that sample of the Just Float sweater. And then the other combo, which a designer used this combo for a different hat and mitts pattern called the Paradigm Shift hat and mitts. And this, I didn't grab those. I should have grabbed those samples. I forgot. This is Fraser and Hydrangea. So anyway, that's kits for this are in the shop, and you can get with 2 skeins of Berry Hill for those kits. Let's see. If you're not signed up to the newsletter, sign up. There's if you want to stay up to date on happenings with Queen City Yarn, we are planning on reopening our Etsy shop as kind of a sale section, and to move some inventory that that we're not currently going to be keeping in stock, some bases that we're not currently stocking fully. So if you want to get a good deal on something, or if you're looking for like a Dilworth DK, we are stocking more of the Biddleville DK than the Dilworth DK now. We'll still dye that as custom orders for people, but I think we're going to keep the Biddleville DK in stock, like more in stock than the Dilworth. And there's going to be some bulky in there. So check out the Etsy shop. I'm not sure if it's up to date yet. Janice was doing that. But if you sign up for the newsletter, we'll let you know as soon as there's yarn in there. And what else? There's so many things. It's been such a long time. Let's see. Maybe if I'm knitting, my brain will work. We have some new colors. Oh, that's another thing I want to show you. I'm putting knitting down. I designed some new colors this week. It's been so long since I was in my dye studio, which is AKA my garage. But I pretty much dyed my tail off before the kids got done with school for the summer, and didn't dye very much at all this summer. But I finally got back in the dye studio on Tuesday. And I dyed some new colors. So these two new colors were dyed kind of inspired by my kids and going back to school. So this colorway is going to be called Best Day Ever. And it is blues and grays and purples with some pops of kind of a purpley pink speckle. So I used inspiration from a dress of my daughter's. And this is going to be called Best Day Ever. And that's for her. This colorway I dyed with my son in mind. And the color is better here. It's going to be called Are You Yeti? And it's because he doesn't quite have his R's yet. And it's not, it's common, for a 5-year-old to use a y sound instead of a r sound. But so all summer long, it's just, are you Yeti? Are you Yeti for this? Are you Yeti for kindergarten? Like, Mom, are you Yeti? Like showing me things. And it's hilarious to me. So I dyed this colorway with him in mind. It's grays and blues, and it's got some turquoisey and orange speckles and this really beautiful kind of like golden greenish yellow here. That Janice has a new tonal that's going to be that will coordinate with this. I used her recipe for that. And it's also going to look, it's a really pretty gold color, so it'll look great with both of those. And those are going to be part of our back to school series, our back to school colorways. And then these other two colorways, there's kind of a story to them. So the house that we're in now is the first house that we ever owned. And we've always rented before buying this house. And when we moved in, we went and bought a couch for the living room, which we had, the last couch that we had bought, but we bought it like off of a discount showroom floor kind of thing. It was scuffed and scratched in places, and I mean, it was fine. It lasted us a very long time, and we loved it, and it was comfortable. But it wasn't like if we had the money, we would like pick all the things for that couch, right? Like, so when we moved into this house, we saved up, obviously for the down payment and everything, but we also saved up for new living room furniture. So we went and we bought a couch, and we got to pick the style and the fabric and all that kind of stuff. And so, I mean, we've never let the kids eat in the living room, but it's like my fear now that we have this couch that they'll go and get stuff all over it, right? So, I don't know. It's just, okay. So, being a mom of a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old, I have like these like mom nightmares of things happening, and just, I mean, things that they happen, right? You don't want them to happen, but they could. And so one of them is Cheetos on the couch. I've actually had dreams about this happening, nightmares of this happening, where somehow there's my 2 kids and a bag of Cheetos on the couch. And so I've had this colorway in mind to dye up around the Halloween kind of time of like mom nightmares. And this one is called Cheetos on the Couch. And so it's like a taupey gray, which is the color of my couch, and orange like streaks and speckles because Cheetos. So this is one of my mom nightmares, Cheetos on my couch. Another mom nightmare I have is that my kids get a hold of a Sharpie. I actually have all of the Sharpies like put up in a mug up in one of the higher up cabinets and they're in the back, on the back of the shelf, and there's a mug that has Sharpies in it. So another fear of mine is that my kids get a hold of a Sharpie, and while my kids know not to draw on things that aren't paper or, specifically for drawing on, that's just a fear I've always had. So I keep the Sharpies all up and away from them. And this one is going to be Sharpie versus fridge. So it's like a, you know, just a gray, like stainless steel kind of gray. And it's got black and gray speckles, which our black kind of breaks a little, and it's got a little bit of blue and a little bit of rusty color. That's just the way the dye works. But so this is going to be Sharpie versus the Fridge, and this is like super neutral, and so these are going to be two colorways in. I don't know if I'll dye more of my mom nightmares, but these are kind of like an offering of the nightmares of me with my kids. So, yay. These are both on Notice Lock. They're not in the shop yet. None of these new colorways are in the shop yet, but they will be pretty soon. We'll announce in the newsletter when they go up in the shop. But it was so much fun getting back into the dye studio this week. And I love dyeing colors that we've had and have been dyeing for, years now, or however long we've been having them for. But it's always really, really fun and exciting to get out there and design something new. And so I had a lot of fun designing these 4 new colors on Tuesday. So, yeah, I think that's it for new colors. Let's see. Oh, there's one more thing I want to tell you about, and this is super exciting. This is an upcoming event for Queen City. So at the end of October every year up in the mountains, there is SAF, which is the Southeastern Animal Fiber Festival. I may have mumbled that because I don't know. I can't off the top of my head say exactly what it stands for. But so there's a fiber festival up in the mountains. And most of the time, whenever I've been, I've always also gone to Black Mountain Yarn Shop because she runs some things on sale and has some exclusive things dyed for her and having in the shop for the festival weekend. And it's about 20 minutes from the fairgrounds where the festival is held. Well, this year, as you know, they're in a new shop, beautiful new space, and there's a whole second floor, which is just open. And so she is doing a Black Mountain Indie Extravaganza, where she has invited 16 vendors to come and set up on the second floor of her building and kind of have like a weekend trunk show. So luckily, Queen City Yarn was chosen as one of the 16 vendors that are going to be there. So on Friday, October the 25th and Saturday, October the 26th, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., you can find Queen City Yarn at Black Mountain Yarn Shop, along with tons of other amazing vendors and dyers. Our friend Joan of Lollipop Yarn is going to be there. There's going to be all kinds of fun stuff. So we're gearing up for that now that we're back out in the dye studios again, and kind of picking what we're going to bring for that. We'll definitely have Berry Hill there, and we're trying to decide what are the bases, what colorways we want to bring. So yeah, if you're going to go and there's something you would love to see, please let us know. Also, if you're not going and you're just shopping online, if there's something you really want, let us know. Just shoot us an email. We are working on getting a custom order kind of thing like on the website, but we're not there yet. So if you want something and we don't have it in stock, or you want to knit a sweater and need a full dye lot or whatever, just shoot us an email or a direct message on Instagram, and we'll see what we can do. And we'd love to dye custom things for people, so custom dye lots and stuff like that. So yeah, just let us know. Also, if you would love to see Queen City Yarn in your local yarn shop, let us know. We are opening up a few wholesale spots. Like I said, I got 3 extra hours in every day now. And so that's going to afford us some extra time to dye. And we would love to pick up a few more wholesale stores. So if you would like to see Queen City in your local shop, let them know, and they can reach out to us, and we can try and make that happen. So anyway, I think that's all. That was a lot. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to podcasting more and more frequently. So yeah, I hope to see you in the next few weeks. And until then, happy knitting!